Welcome to another edition of Tobs Talk on Greenlight. Matt and Mika here hosting tonight and tomorrow. We have an exciting episode tonight as Coach Love will come in, and me and him will break down what happened at Petersburg in the 5-4 victory, as well as tonight's matchup against the Peninsula Pilots. Riley Corkin will also come in, and he will interview Bobby Gazzola for you, as me and Riley also will break down tonight's matchup. That's all coming up on tonight on Tobs Talk. Welcome back to Tobs Talk, who we are with Coach Austin Love. You just got back from the All-Star break. Why don't you share with our viewers, how much you liked the event, what was going on?
Oh, it was awesome. Peninsula did a very good job of taking care of us. Right. Just the whole thing was first class, and it was great to see our players go out there and compete. They had the fan festival, home run derby,
right.
Hitting challenge thing on Sunday night, and they had this new hitting challenge set
right.
up. Not expecting as many home runs to be hit as were, and it was just awesome to watch.
Right.
Guys like Adam Kirsch and Nick Thompson from Edenton and Luke Tendler from Asheboro. Those guys, they put on a great show, and it was just very, very fun to watch.
Yeah.
And good to know that we haven't seen balls hit like that off us this year. And then into the game was typical of what I've seen from both sides,
right.
the East and the West. West went out there and they pitched. I mean, the East, we struggled to get a hit for a long time. We had a run and didn't have a hit for 6 innings, and we battled back. And those Fayetteville Swamp Dogs, man, they scrapped out some hits and had a couple hit by pitches and tried to bunt a couple guys over
right.
in an All-Star game. And it was very fitting that Nick Christopher from Petersburg, the sole general,
right.
got the game-winning hit. An extra inning. So, and also it being an extra inning affair was kind of fun. We had to make
right.
some changes and try to
right.
find guys to pitch and all that stuff. So it was very, very fun.
Yeah, great to see. Even in an All-Star contest, you compete to win. Let's talk about the Petersburg game. Great game. Let's talk about Collins Kuthro. Went 3 for 4, had the solo bomb to tie the game. How great was it to see him finally, break out of that shell and start playing well? Yeah,
it was great because he finally, he had an awesome at bat. And I joked with him later on. Those are usually the kind of at bats where guys, they fight, and then they strike out.
Right.
He said he was up there thinking, man, don't strike out. Right. But, I can't remember if it was 10 pitches or 12 pitches, but it was a very long at-bat, and then he hits the ball over the wall. And, that was one of those games where we were just confident the whole time. We have a very cocky group of guys, and it's comfortable to,
right.
Have that confidence that you're going to come back. And Sean Godfrey, his aggressiveness
right.
all the time, just putting pressure on the other team, pretty much single-handedly scored that run,
right.
Running around the bases, and then John Fitzsimmons taking the ball and being ready that fast to come in and get
right.
the save. He's just a great pitcher and, a very good arm
right.
to have.
Right. So for our viewers, what happened was Sean Godfrey steals second, then steals third, then scores. How important is it for you guys to start stealing bases and being aggressive going into the second half of the season?
I think more than anything, I know we've struggled batting average-wise. I want to say we're around 230 batting average-wise, which is toward the bottom of the league. But what we've been able to do is get bases in bunches by hitting
right.
doubles and a few home runs here lately. For us, it is about being able to steal some bases, and to get those bases, we have to get a few more walks and get a few more singles, and that's just not striking out as much, battling a little bit more, and that's really what we're going to concentrate on in our preparation for this, for this run after the All-Star break, is that we're going to try to get our guys to have better at bats with 2 strikes and
right.
foul off more pitches and try to mix in a few more walks. We've got a couple guys that only have 1 or 2 walks, and they're better hitters, and we need to attack that part of our game a little better.
Right. Now the Tobs take on the Peninsula Pilots tonight, and last time you two squared off, they kind of had your numbers. Christian Snick only went 3 innings, kind of struggled a little bit. What does John Valek III need to do tonight to set the tone?
He just needs to do what he's been doing.
Right.
Filling up the zone with all 3 pitches, keeping his pitch count low. We're very excited to have him on the mound tonight. He's done so well, and he'll be fresh coming off the All-Star break and having a nice long rest in between starts. So he'll do well. It's just about us playing defense behind him and trying to score runs early. I'm confident that he's going to give us the quality start that he's been giving us pretty much night in, night out.
Right. How nice is it to have him in your rotation? You have guys that are pumping 90, high 80s, and him, the thumber, the southpaw. He comes in, throws, a lot of curveballs for strikes. How nice is that to have in your back pocket?
It's awesome because he's a change of pace.
Yeah.
And also, you're going to get I don't want to jinx myself, but your bullpen's going to get a night off.
Yeah.
And especially in this stretch of this week where we play Fayetteville twice and Eatonton, and then we have our exhibition tomorrow against Kernersville. It's important that he goes deep so we have, bullpen and have arms toward the end of the week. So, we just expect to get what we normally get from him and, we'll go out there and play hard. It'll be an exciting game.
Tobs will knock off the Peninsula Pilots and their 5-0 record in the second half of the season. We'll talk with Riley Corcoran to break down the game next. This is Tobs Talk on Greenlight. Welcome back to Tobs Talk. Matt Mika here with Riley Corcoran. We'll talk about tonight's matchup, but before we get to that, let's talk about the Petersburg game. They come back in the ninth. Sean Godfrey, he steals second, steals third, but also Collins Cuthro. He had a huge game going 3 for 4 with the solo bomb to tie the game. How are we impressed with you with Collins?
Well, I'm very impressed, first off. The Tobs are kind of turning into the cardiac kids. We've seen so many ninth-inning comebacks this year. This was no exception. Good momentum going to the All-Star break. I thought, first off, when you talk about Collins Cuthro, it was nice to see because the toughest thing about maybe in summer baseball, as you know very well, to get in a rhythm. And Collins is played sparingly, a little bit back and forth. I know he's been frustrated by it, but to have a game like that, 3 for 4, hey, he has 3 days to think about how great that was. And again, with the bomb like you were talking about, very impressive and very happy for someone like Collins Cuthro to have the game like that.
Right. Also, with the bullpen, too, coming in to shut the door, Bobby Gazzola has been huge for the bullpen, him and John Fitzsimmons. But let's get into Bobby Gazzola. How do you feel about him in his first half?
Bobby Gazzola has been the most underrated pitcher, I could say. I mean, you talk about Josh Johnson, another upstate New York kid. He's been great. Fitzsimmons, of course, we expected that. Nick Monroe. I mean, you can go down the line. This bullpen is just lights out all the way down the line. But Bobby Gazzola, I think it's more impressive, Matt, because he was not a full-time pitcher until last year. He didn't really know what the roles were from a mental side of things as well as physical, and he has been great. 3 innings pitched out of the bullpen. That's tough to do. Shut him down. He actually leads the CPL in appearances, and that speaks volumes for how much he has grown already in just the first month of this season. But very impressed with Bobby. Again, maybe an all-star snub with the way he did, but 3 innings pitched to get the win, well deserved.
Yeah, you mentioned the New York. Us New Yorkers have to stick together.
That's right.
Now let's get to tonight's game. John Valek III coming in. He'll be starting tonight. He's 3-1 on the year. He's kind of been under the radar. He's been that kind of quiet guy of the staff. The ace of the staff besides Matt Borns, who's the all-star. So what is impressive about John Valek? He's a thumber. He won't blow it by you. What have you been impressed with him?
John Valek III knows how to pitch. I mean, he does not maybe have the raw tools that so many guys were blessed with, like a Matt Borns who's 6'8". But John Valek III, I can relate to in the sense of having to work so hard to get to this level, and he's done that and beyond with what he has. I mean, he throws in the low 80s, but he is the smartest pitcher on the team. I will say that with no hesitation whatsoever. John Valek III knows how to pitch. A lot of people could learn a lot from John Valek III. I'm very impressed with the way he hits spots. Being able to throw any pitch in any count is such an understatement for what he's been able to do. And take away that one start in Morehead City where he played in that Cracker Box ballpark and gave up a couple fly ball home runs. His numbers are phenomenal. His ERA should be in about the low 2s right now, but been very impressed with him. The Tobs should be very confident every time he's on the mound.
Right. So the Tobs now are 2-2. They just started the second half of the season, but the All-Star game just happened. So now we can officially say that the first half is closed. So with the first half, who's your MVP of the first half for the Tobs?
Well, I mean, I can go the easy route here. Rich Gonsolin is the MVP because he's been the most consistent, for sure, offensive player. And he's been the guy the Tobs can rely on day in, day out. His batting average is over 340. He has the extra base hit numbers. He does it always fun to watch. But is a close second, I would say the bullpen. I mean, the bullpen as a unit has been great for the Tobs, saving games. Starting pitching has been right there, but a couple inconsistent starts maybe knocks them down. So I'd go with Rich Gonsolin, the bullpen being a close second. But again, everybody is starting to get that positive momentum. Even someone like we were just talking about, Collins Cuthro, someone like him can come to the party and bring up to what everyone else is doing right now. Tobs are going to be tough to beat the next couple of weeks.
Right. That's Riley Corcoran breaking down tonight's matchup between the Peninsula Pilots and the Wilson Tobs. Hope to see you tonight at historic Fleming Stadium. We'll close out the show next on Tobs Talk. And another edition of Tobs Talk in the books. Thank you for tuning in tonight as the Peninsula Pilots will be hosted by the Tobs at historic Fleming Stadium. Ladies' night tonight, so all ladies come out to historic Fleming Stadium for discounted prices. The Tobs will take on the Kernersville Bulldogs tomorrow at noon, so be sure to come out and support the Tobs there, as well as tune into Tobs Talk tomorrow at 11 and 11:30 before the game. Also tune into our social media outlets as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Wilson Tobs. Again, the Tobs will take on the Peninsula Pilots tonight at historic Fleming Stadium. First pitch is scheduled for 7:05. This is Tobs Talk on Greenlight.